Please welcome Mr. Andrew Yang.
Hello, members of the DNC. It's phenomenal to be here with you. It's an honor and a privilege. It's a privilege because you all control the future of the country. It's why you wade through the rules and bylaws and credentialing to get to the good stuff. And what is the good stuff? The good stuff is answering the greatest question of our time. And I will say we have to get this question right. The question is, why the heck is Donald Trump our president? How did that happen? If you turn on the cable news broadcasts, you might get a cocktail of answers, some mixture of Russia, racism, Facebook, FBI, Hillary Clinton. But the numbers tell a different story, and I'm a numbers guy. The numbers tell a very clear and distinct story that the reason why Donald Trump is our president today is that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Missouri, and Iowa, all the swing states that Donald Trump needed to win and did win. We are here together in San Francisco, the hub of technology, and what we did to the manufacturing jobs, we will now do to the retail jobs, the call center jobs, the fast food jobs, the truck driving jobs, and on through the economy. How many of you have noticed stores closing where you live? I know you're from all over the country. And why are those stores closing? One word answer, Amazon. Amazon soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. How much are they paying in taxes? Zero. Less than everyone here in this room. That is the math. 20 billion out, zero back. Most common job in most of the country is being a retail clerk. The average retail clerk is a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $10 an hour. When her store closes, what is her next move going to be? When you call the customer service line of a big company and you get that bot, what do? What's your next move? If you're like me, you go 000, representative, human, until you get someone on the line, right? In 2 or 3 years, the software is going to sound like this. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? What can I do for you? You might not even realize it's software. It's going to be delightful, seamless, efficient. What is that going to mean for the 2.5 million Americans who work at call centers right now making $14 an hour? Driving a truck is the most common job in 29 states in this country, and my friends here in Silicon Valley are working on trucks that can drive themselves. They tell me they are 98% of the way there. What is that going to mean for the 3.5 million Americans who drive a truck for a living right now, or the 7 million Americans who work at truck stops, motels, and diners that rely upon those truckers getting out and having a meal? We talk about it like Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems. He is not. He is a symptom. He's a manifestation. We are going through the greatest economic transformation in our country's history, what experts are calling the fourth industrial revolution. When's the last time you heard a politician say the words fourth industrial revolution? Just now. And I am barely a politician. So the question is, what are the Democrats going to do about it? We have to make it known to our fellow citizens that it is not immigrants that are causing these problems. It is technology. Immigrants are getting scapegoated for something they have nothing to do with. So the question is, how do we solve this problem for the American people? We have to take a new vision to our fellow citizens as fast as possible. If you've heard anything about me in my campaign, you've heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Remember hearing that? Remember the first time you heard that? Nothing quite like the first time, am I right? First time you heard it, it seemed like a gimmick. It seemed like there's no way that would ever happen. But if you dig into our country's history, you find this is a deeply American idea. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of our country. He called it the citizen's dividend. Martin Luther King championed it and fought for it in the 60s, and it is what he was fighting for on the day he was assassinated in 1968. 1,000 economists endorsed it in the 60s and 70s. It was so mainstream that it passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971 as the Family Assistance Plan. And 11 years later, one state passed a dividend where now everyone in that state receives between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? And how do they fund it? And what is the oil of the 21st century? Technology, that's right. AI, data, software, autonomous vehicles, A study just came out that said that your data, our data, is now worth more than oil. How many of you received your data check in the mail? None of us. In Alaska, they call this the oil check, and they love it. We're going to call this the tech check, and all of America is going to love it. And I want you to think about what $1,000 a month would mean in our communities. It would mean stronger families, higher graduation rates, lower stress levels, less domestic violence. It would start to recognize the work that's actually being done in our communities every single day, would create millions of new jobs, would supercharge the arts, creativity, volunteerism, culture, and political engagement. This is the trickle-up economy, from our people, our family, and our communities up. This is the vision that will win in 2020. And while I'm talking about trickle-up change, we need to have trickle-up political change, which means empowering the state parties. We need to have a 57-state strategy if we're going to win in the days to come. I get it. I'm an operator. The action happens on the ground. We have to empower people on the ground. We can't stop here with a trickle-up economy. How many of you were excited about GDP when you woke up this morning? How many of you were like, I'm going to make a big contribution today. I can feel it. If you think about it, we're at record high levels of GDP, also at record highs in this country right now. Suicides, drug overdoses, anxiety, depression, financial insecurity. It's gotten so bad that our life expectancy has declined for the last 3 years in a row. Last time our life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row, the Spanish flu of 1918. Global pandemic. That's the last time it happened. We need to evolve to the next set of measurements. And I talk about my wife who's at home with our 2 young boys, one of whom is autistic. What is her work included at in GDP every day? 0. And we know that's nonsense. We know it's the opposite of the truth. We know that her work, I was off the trail for a couple days taking care of my kids. And you know what I said after 2 days? Get me back to running for president as soon as possible. And if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the hardest work there is, but the most important. Instead of this GDP measurement that's running us off a cliff, we should be measuring our shared progress through health and life expectancy, mental health and freedom from substance abuse, clean air, clean water, childhood success rates. This is a vision of an economy that would actually work for the American people. Right now, the Democratic Party is being cast as the party that wants to spend money. We want to move society forward, and we need the right measurements to do that. So this is the vision we have to take to the rest of the country as fast as possible. We have to solve the problems that got Donald Trump elected. If you remember in 2016, what did he say? He said, we're going to make America great again. And then what did Hillary respond? America is already great. And that did not quite work. His solutions were garbage and nonsense. He said, we're going to build a wall, we're going to turn the clock back, we're going to bring the old jobs back. We have to do the opposite of all of that. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our society and economy. We have to evolve in the way we think about work and value. And I am the ideal candidate for that job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you very much, Democrats. Thank you very much. Let's make America think harder and win. Thank you.